Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. Mr. Tim Pate's here. Howdy, Tim.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Oh, enjoying this summer weather that we finally got here.
It is hot. That is true.
And we have some film clips we'll be playing you. The news is a little sparse this week, so we're going to be skipping the hemp news segment this week, but it'll be back soon. Actually, this is our last live show for a couple of weeks. We're going to have a show next week revolving around the Seattle Hemp Fest, which happens next weekend, and we're all going to be down there in Seattle. So rather than be here to do a live show, we'll have a taped one. And so we'll be back live the first week in September. I'm not sure what that date is right now, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, stay tuned, and we're going to bring out our infamous dancing cannabis leaves.
I feel the force.
All right, well, it's slow news this week, so here's Mr. Tim Pate.
You know, I've always thought that at this time of year, the real news is us and what we're doing, what we're involved with. You know, Seattle Hemp Fest is coming up next week, and
that's right.
You know, you can't ignore the gorilla in the room because it has become the biggest festival, protestival of its kind. Yeah. And there's no doubt that there'll be a huge number of people there if weather holds. Like right now, it's very warm right now in the Northwest, and totally expect that to happen, you know, to hold out for at least another week or two. And I think Seattle will just be a tremendous event this year, maybe the biggest, best we've ever had. I know the lineup is incredible, and just looking forward to playing it. So I think that, you know, if nothing else, you know, the Seattle Hemp Fest makes everything else pale in comparison. Event-wise, it just simply does.
Yeah, if you haven't been there, it's hard to really conceive because it's kind of a free zone, so to speak, and it's just you know, being a park with 500,000 of your like-minded community.
It's an amazing thing to have happen.
Cannabis is basically almost legal in that area. If you don't go up and blow your smoke in the police officer's face, you're pretty safe, and even if you do, you might be okay.
Well, you know, I think that it's important that you show respect. This year, the theme of the Seattle Hemp Fest is responsible use. Who in the right mind would do something like that unless they were really wanting to do a protest or to show up a police officer? I'm not really interested in doing anything like that myself. That doesn't make sense to me. We have a very good working relationship with the police in Seattle, and I would love to see that maintained. It's a simple fact that in Seattle they have passed Proposition 75, and so that it is the lowest priority of any police officer in that city to deal with any marijuana issues. So having known that for such a long time, and the fact that the city, the attorney there, the district attorney,
Dan Satterberg, the prosecutor, says he won't arrest anyone or prosecute him for minor marijuana
if he's not going to prosecute, why arrest? You know, that's so in other words, that's the news.
And it's been that way in Portland pretty much. I mean, you know, depends on the officer you run into, any place you are, but you know, we have a lot more freedom here in the Northwest than they do in many other parts of the country. So
that's true.
We're very fortunate.
I feel like we've earned that
this week, but it all had to do with dispensaries opening and new dispensaries being licensed, and it seems like we've covered that a lot over the past few weeks, and it's just more.
It's going to be news for a while too. It really is. It's on the front page on everybody else's front page. Although we've been talking about it for a long time, it's not on our front page anymore. But I'm glad to see that other people are talking about it. They consider it important news when marijuana is considered medicine, and they're able to use it in an intelligent, logical way, and testing. And I mean, I was looking at the evening news tonight, and lo and behold, a story about medical marijuana testing that didn't make it look like it was stupid or drug or Cheech and Chong. So I think we've
Not
made
that
progress.
there's anything wrong with Cheech and Chong.
No, but it adds a different element that if you're trying to be serious, that takes it away. And we both know that, So, if they're trying to be serious and they're doing serious studies, I'd like to see those studies continue. Anyway, it's like, I think, in fact, this week we are the news, Paul.
Well, we'll see, especially next weekend.
Oh, boy.
Seattle Hemp Fest will be.
That's if we live through
Us and 500,000 others.
Yeah, because now I'm playing next week in Seattle. I'm playing both days on main stage. I'm opening main stage at noon. Which is a change. Normally we've opened main stage at 11. This year we're opening at noon. We're giving it a little more, but the doors open at 10 anyway. I'll be playing the Sealy stage at 6 o'clock, and then on main stage both days we'll be giving away the grand prizes. I've had them on the show for the last few weeks, and a beautiful piece of glass and a really nice guitar that'll be covered with signatures. This is actually, since this is Friday the 13th, this is the 13th guitar I'm giving away. I thought that was a little do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Anyway, I'm really excited. Come up to Seattle. You're going to have a great time. I know we're shown in Seattle, so all of our friends up there, we'll see you here very, very soon.
All right. Mr. Tim Pate.
Thank you.
Well, we are taking your phone calls tonight, so if you have a question or comment about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, or helping medical marijuana patients, or anything to do with cannabis, you can give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. And we'll be taking your calls right up until the top of the hour. We have a caller standing by. Welcome to the show, caller.
Yeah, how you doing tonight?
Pretty well. How are you?
Real well, thank you. What is it? Ballot 76?
It's the 13th today? Is that what you're asking?
No, the ballot
measure.
measure.
Oh, 74. Proposition,
74.
Our ballot measure 74.
If that passes in November, how many producers can you have per address?
I am not 100% certain of that question. I'd have to read the law and let you know, and I can't say right now, unfortunately.
Okay, and that's not going to affect any of the current laws that are in effect right now, is it?
No,
No.
you'll still be able to be a patient or a caregiver, and that will remain unchanged.
And you still would be able to grow your own if you needed to?
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
You bet.
You're welcome. Thank you. If you have a question or comment, then you can call us there at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. 48. And if you're out on the internet, you can go to ustream.tv and type in a question there, and we'll get it texted to us and be able to answer it right here. So there you have it.
There you have it.
So you're all geared up for the Seattle Hemp Fest, obviously.
Getting ready. You got to be ready. Yes, I've got all the prizes, got the tickets, because we run a raffle, you know, and so yes, I have my crews all ready. You know, got them all their T-shirt sizes assigned, and you know, yes, all the little pieces.
We've been working on the
and
same
stuff.
with all of our.
We've got hemp stock
booths
as
and
well
everything.
coming up, and yes, I've spent some good time over the last few weeks, not only by myself but with a lot of our crew. You know, getting ready, having meetings, and doing prep so that we have a good show, and so everybody there will enjoy themselves. And you know, it's a matter of we really are in a beautiful area. If you didn't get a chance to come to Hempstock last year, I'm talking about the Portland Hempstock. It's 11th and 12th of September.
Yeah, exactly. About 4 weeks out right now.
It is in a beautiful location. Kelly Point Park is out on the confluence of the Willamette and the Columbia, and it's just like a sacred point. And for us, it's going to be, over the years, it will become even more and more important to us, as it already has become. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful spot. So if you get a chance to come out this year, I highly recommend it. There'll be a lot of other people in town too, because of the National Normal Conference. It'll be the same week. It'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we're Saturday, Sunday of that week in September, and it's going to be a very busy time. A lot of folks in town, and a lot of activist attorneys in town. So there'll be speeches flying everywhere.
Activist attorneys.
Yes.
Well, we do have another phone call, and we'd like to welcome you to the show. Hello, caller.
Hi, I'm a veteran of the Iraq and Afghanistan war. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
I'm wondering, does Oregon recognize that as a qualifying condition for my medical marijuana coverage?
No, it does not. California is the only state. Well, no, that's not true. California and New Mexico recognize it as a qualifying condition, but though several folks have tried to have it put on the Oregon list of qualifying conditions, so far been unsuccessful.
But it should be.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, they use cannabis for PTSD in Israel, the Israeli army, which goes through a lot of stressful situations.
You know, there's
They
one piece of
use
news we haven't
cannabis for that.
discussed, but the change in the Veteran Administration rules. And
Oh yeah, we
regulations.
covered that a few weeks ago in the news
Yeah,
story.
we talked about
Yeah.
that. Maybe we went over too fast,
Yeah.
but now would be a good time. What exactly just changed?
Well,
with
there's a thing. If you're in chronic pain,
Right.
you you can get debilitating narcotics.
Right.
And so, and in some cases, you might need them for really chronic pain conditions. And so, if you're being treated, a lot of times in pain specialist centers will make you sign a pain contract
Yes. Yeah.
that says you have to come to them. You can't go to other doctors. Get all your medicines from one source, so they can monitor
Right.
your prescriptions and make sure there aren't any contraindications or other side effects that would compound with other medicines. So cannabis doesn't really have any deadly interactions with any other drugs. It doesn't cause any drug to amplify its potentially toxic or lethal side effects. So it really kind of fits outside of the window of a lot of those regulations. But very few pain management clinics will allow people, they drug test people in these pain management clinics to make sure that they're following the regimen that they're
Right.
supposed to be under. So the Veterans Administration has now said that people at the Veterans Administration who are on a pain contract can also have a permit for medical marijuana, and
Yes.
that their doctors can take that into effect, and they don't have to kick them out of the
And
pain
that's
management
such a major
contracts.
change, since we have
Right.
a major change. We have a
It
lot
is,
of
it is.
veterans in our area. We certainly, because we have
I'm
a
a
veterans
disabled
hospital.
veteran myself.
I have a
you know,
veterans
so there's
hospital
a
in
lot
this
of them.
area, so I have a brother-in-law that works there at the hospital. And
Yeah.
So I know that it's a major. A lot of people travel here for medical care.
Yeah, from around the state.
They
it's
do.
true. Anytime you have a large city with a big VA hospital, you'll get people traveling there for medical care. And so let me go ahead and just reiterate for those of you out there, if you have a question or comment, you can call us at that number there on your screen. It's 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We'll be taking your calls, and we have a film clip we'll be bringing up shortly. We do have a question from a studio audience member. Go right ahead.
Well, if somebody has PTSD and they have migraines due to that or stomach issues, would that help them qualify for medical marijuana?
Yes, that would. So if someone had another qualifying condition in addition to post-traumatic stress, like a migraine headache or ulcers or some kind of gastrointestinal ailment, they're the things that qualify. So gastrointestinal ailments cause nausea and GERD or diseases like that, and so that qualifies. All right, we have another question from a caller. Welcome to our show, caller.
Yeah, hi, I'm just walking out of the garage to get away from the TV.
Right on.
My question was, if you have chronic back pain, which is, one of you can get a card with that, but you haven't had a doctor in 20 years, how do you go about,
Well, you got to see a doctor.
Getting a card that way? You can't.
To be able to get a card, a doctor has to sign off on it. So you have to have either a MD or medical doctor or DO, a doctor of osteopathy, here in the state of Oregon and in all the other states with the exception of Washington State. In Washington State, in addition to MDs and DOs, nurse practitioners, physician's assistants, and naturopathic physicians can also sign a medical marijuana permit. So if you have a qualifying condition, you haven't seen a medical doctor, then, well, you've got to go see a doctor because they're the ones that fill out the paperwork that you have to turn into the state to get a permit in Oregon and most other states. In Washington and California, the doctor's recommendation is the permit.
Right, but they're not going to do it on a one-time thing. You just go to a doctor and say that.
No. I mean, there are some doctors that do it that way, unfortunately, but a lot of times they're disciplined by the medical board. It's pretty common down in California for clinics to do it down there like that. However, most reputable doctors will want to have some sort of a history and diagnostic testing to find out the root cause of your...
If it's real.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Not. Yeah. Okay, and one more quick question before you go, while we got you on here. Do you ever have people complaining about anxiety when they smoke weed?
Yeah, some people do. And some people who have anxiety, cannabis helps them relieve the anxiety. But for some people, it can cause an anxiety reaction, especially for an infrequent user or someone who doesn't have much experience with cannabis. They could have an anxiety attack or something like that.
Right.
Well, but it's not unusual, especially, there are some people, a small percentage of people out there who regular use of cannabis, not just one-time use, but using it over a short period of time, could precipitate a psychotic reaction, a schizophrenic reaction. Wow. And so for people who, some schizophrenics, cannabis helps, but for a small number of people out there, probably about 1/10%, the use of cannabis might cause them to have a psychotic reaction.
And is there anyone that you've known of that's medically had like a heart attack or something from smoking it?
No, not a heart attack caused by smoking cannabis. And I've never known anyone to, never heard of that.
I did hear of a bale of marijuana falling on a DEA agent once.
Exactly.
And I understand that is a death by marijuana, so it counts.
Excellent. Okay, well, thanks for taking my call, man.
You're welcome. Thanks for your call. If you have a question or comment out there for us, give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. And if that isn't enough numbers for you, we have doctors who are ready to help you all over the country, and we have a physician referral service we'd be happy to direct you to. You can call us toll-free at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. If you're here in the Portland, Oregon area, you can call 503-235-4606 and reach us at the local number. That's 503-235-4606. You can also call that number if you're interested in volunteering for our Hemp Stock Festival, or you're interested in helping at the Seattle Hemp Fest, or just getting involved in the movement to end adult marijuana prohibition. We have another caller, though. Welcome to our show, caller.
Hi, I was just calling in reference to that guy who just called about the anxiety. I just wanted to mention it's different strains. Different strains affect different people in different
That's
ways.
true.
So if he finds what works for him, it can help anxiety. So I just wanted to mention it's the different strains of marijuana that do different things, not necessarily the marijuana itself.
Yeah, there are several different medicinal compounds in cannabis, and THC is the one that might cause a more anxiety response, but CBD actually counteracts that, and so a CBD kind of replaces some of the high associated with it. CBD is actually the compound in cannabis that has the most medical utility. It's the one that's useful for pain, spasms, seizures, gastrointestinal ailments, where the THC is good for nausea as an appetite stimulant, and also for a number of psychological conditions like anxiety, depression, PTSD. There are other
growing
compounds
method
too.
has an effect as well. You could grow it. You could harvest it a little early, and it'll have a different effect than rather if you harvested it late and let it mature a little longer. It will have a totally different effect on you.
It'll have a different cannabinoid profile, a different combination of the active ingredients, and so that's really the key behind different reactions. And the different strains obviously have. There are about 100 different terpenes or aromatic hydrocarbons. A lot of those have some medicinal effects as well, and so it's the interaction of all of those.
If that guy's interested, let him know there's quite a bit of research done on the computer of different strains that have worked for different people and different testimonials from different patients as well. So if he's interested, he could look that up and find it. But thank you for educating the public on all the benefits of cannabis and the uses, and I think that more education needs to be out there so people opposed to it can be educated. And the main thing is having the patients have the right to medicate wherever that they please. So great. Thanks so much for your work.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Y'all
Thanks
have a
for
great
your
night.
question too. It's a good point there.
I agree with her.
Yeah, there's a wide difference of the various strains. I mean, there's some strains that'll just knock you out, make you want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
There are other strains that will
pick you up and make you want to
and
go
the
to
same
work.
strain could be radically different. When, like you mentioned, at the various times it's harvested. If you harvest it early, it's more likely to cause anxiety or give you less of a sleepy response. If you wait and let it mature more, the cannabinoid profile is such that
it could put you to sleep.
It becomes more of a sleepy, especially the ones that are more skunky or indica prone. There's so many different variables, and the scientists are just beginning to study that. It's actually illegal to get supplies of cannabis for study in the United States, except from one small farm at the University of Mississippi in Oxford, Mississippi, and so that cannabis is very low grade. I can tell you from having tried a little bit of it with one of the 6 remaining patients who receive it, that it's like the old Mexican, and
there was a report on the CBS Evening News this evening that I was watching about a test at Washington State University on mice using marijuana and pain receptors.
And the gubernatorial candidate for the Republicans up there, Dino Rossi, he came out and put down this study, but the study actually was based on some pretty sound science.
Exactly, and they were discussing it on the evening news tonight. And so I wondered if they were using that source or a different source for their marijuana.
I know that was in the Seattle paper today too.
Yeah,
so they were used. I'm not sure what they were using.
I know because it's available to them in Washington.
Since it's medical there, so might be synthetic THC. They often use the Marinol.
True.
So there's just no telling without actually finding out. Well, we're here still really willing to and ready to take your phone calls. Just call us at 503-288-4448 or text us on ustream.tv. If you go to it's the letter U, STREAM.TV, and if you don't see it right there, just click on Cannabis. Generally, while we're live, it pops up on their home screen or somewhere near it. But if you don't see it there, you can type in Cannabis and it'll pop right up. But yeah, we're getting on in more and more places. We have a number of suburbs in Detroit that are starting to pick us up on the cable access system, so we're sending out more and more DVDs to people around the country.
I have friends in Detroit.
A good friend of mine by the name of Roger Christie is founded a ministry many years ago, about 15 years ago, based out of Hilo, Hawaii. And he's been giving cannabis to his congregation members and holds that cannabis is sacred. And I agree with that. It's a plant that produces more fiber for paper and building materials and rope and canvas and linen, more protein for foods and protein shakes, and you see it now in so many different natural food products. It also produces more oil than any other plant, a healthy oil, much like flax oil. It has all the omega-3, 6, and 9 that you need, the essential fatty acids for cardiovascular and neurological health. And so it also produces a medicine that's useful to so many and not toxic at all. There isn't a toxic response to it. And the chemicals in the medicine mimic neurotransmitters in our brain. And the protein profile from the plant, it basically matches our amino acid profile. It just perfectly meets human nutrition. And so this is a plant that seems to me to be specifically useful for humans, and all archaeologists agree it was among the first plants purposely cultivated by humans. It originated in the high Himalayas, in Tibet and Afghanistan and Kashmir and Nepal, and then its cultivation spread out of that area to the flanks, first in the Yellow River Valley or the Huanghe Valley in China, and in the Tigris-Euphrates River Valley in Iraq, the cradles of agriculture. So all archaeologists agree that cannabis was among the first crops purposely cultivated by people. So I digress, and I'll go back to Roger Christie has been organizing the THC ministry in Hilo for many years. And the Drug Enforcement Administration recently went there and arrested him and said what he was doing is illegal. And this is a 61-year-old man who has never been arrested before. And they are holding him without bail and have held him in jail for about 2 months now. And they're holding him, they say his trial is going to be in April of next year. And they're holding him without bail under the delusion that he is, and the lie that he is a danger to his community in Hilo, Hawaii. And so I just want to urge you out there to go to thc-ministry.org and support Roger Christie. You can also find a Facebook page out there where you can get involved. And you can link up with us in many ways through Facebook. We have our THC clinic page, and I have a personal page where I've maxed out on friends, but I also have a public figure page where you can stay abreast of what's going on here locally. So does CRRH and the Hempstock Festival and the Seattle Hemp Fest. We're all out there on Facebook. And so by using these social networking tools, we've become stronger. But I want to urge you to go through some of these social networking tools and get out there and support Roger Christie in Hilo, Hawaii. And I'm going to be at a protest there next Wednesday in Hilo to talk about Roger and just before going to the Seattle Hemp Fest. So we'll have more about that. We have a film clip we're going to run right now. Another good old friend of mine is from Portland, a fellow by the name of George Cervantes. And George is went to Spain for several years. I met with him over breakfast here in Portland just when George W. Bush was elected back in 2000, prior to 9/11. And he said he didn't want to stay in the United States under G.W. Bush, and I can understand that. He moved to Barcelona, Spain, but now he's back here in the United States and doing things up and down the coast. This is a grow video he has, and we're going to play you a little clip of George Cervantes' Ultimate Grow DVD. So stay tuned.
Whether cultivated indoors or outdoors, hydroponically or in soil, cannabis requires light, air, water, nutrients, a growing medium, and heat to manufacture food and to grow. For optimum growth, the light must be of the proper spectrum, intensity, and duration. Air must be warm, arid, and rich in carbon dioxide. Water must be abundant, but not excessive. And the growing medium must contain the proper levels of nutrients. In this DVD, relying on my decades of experience, both as a writer and grower, I'll teach you how to manage these processes and keep your garden productive, efficient, and green. In nature, cannabis is an annual plant, completing its life cycle in 1 year. A seed planted in the spring will grow strong and tall through the summer and flower in the fall. The annual cycle starts all over again when the seeds sprout the following year and includes 4 distinct growth stages. During germination, moisture, heat, and air activate hormones within the durable outer coating of the seed. Soon, the seed's coating splits, a rootlet grows downward, and a sprout with seed leaves pushes upward in search of light. The tiny seed will have to develop into a self-sufficient seedling quickly if it expects to flourish in the outside world. Seedlings require 16 to 18 hours of light to maintain strong, healthy growth. Vegetative growth lasts from the moment a clone or seedling takes root until that same plant matures enough to begin producing buds. Cannabis plants will remain in this vegetative state for as long as they receive 16 to 24 hours of light per day. Cannabis flowers when the days become shorter and plants are signaled that the annual life cycle is coming to an end. This occurs naturally outdoors in the autumn, but must be regulated indoors by the grower. Flowering is triggered by giving plants 12 hours of uninterrupted darkness and 12 hours of light. When fertilized with male pollen, female flowers will produce seeds at this point in the life cycle. But left unpollinated, a seedless or sinsemilla crop will grow. Later in the DVD, I'll explain sinsemilla growing along with other basic techniques growers use to increase the yield and efficiency in their gardens, including a process called cloning, which guarantees all your plants will be females. Also, we'll show you the best methods for taking your fully grown buds through the harvesting process of cutting, trimming, drying, and curing that will ensure the grass that you grow in your own garden can compete with the best smoke in the world. Invest a day of your time, a little bit of money, and you can grow buds just like this. Hi, how you doing today? I brought you into this little garden that was put together by a grower in a single day. It can also be taken down in less than a day if need be. You can make a garden just like this one and put it together just like this grower did in one single day. Come with me and find out how. Here we are inside of an 8x8 grow room, or what's about to be. What we've done is we've framed up the bottom with 2x3s, and we'll build a complete 8x8 grow room right in front of you. The best location for a grow room is in an obscure corner of a basement where it's easy to maintain a constant temperature year-round. Basements are well insulated by concrete walls and soil. An attic is also a good location, except for the possible heat buildup. Few people venture into an attic that is difficult to access. Outbuildings, garages, and barns not attached to homes are some of the worst places to grow cannabis. Security is much easier to maintain when the garden is within the home. Productive growers have 2 distinct rooms within their grow operation: a vegetative cloning room and a much larger room for flowering plants. As the Trailer Park Boys from Canada can tell you, some of the best pot in the world grows in trailers.
I want my kitty.
Frig off, Bubbles. You gave me the cat.
I didn't say you could keep him, and I don't want him living in a fucking car.
Bubbles, you've got tons of cats. Let me keep him.
He was a loner. I loaned him to you.
Well, I need him. Look at my weed plants. One of them's dead.
I don't give a flying fuck. I didn't never said you could keep him.
What the hell are you doing waking me up
no
so early?
Cat of mine's gonna live in a car. Julian?
Both of you guys, shut up!
Ricky won't give me my kitty.
Ricky, give him his cat. It's my cat now. I don't care. Give him his cat. Look, see that? You know why that plant's dead? Because a squirrel peed in it.
You can't have squirrels peeing on your plants. That just won't do, you know. And I guess that cat might help them. But the Trailer Park Boys are a big television hit up in Canada. For those of you who didn't know that.
That's who that was.
Yep, those guys are very popular on whether it's the CBC, Canadian Broadcasting. We have a couple of online questions and a caller.
Cool.
Why don't we take one of these online questions to start with? The question from California is, how is the grow season? Is it good? And it started a little late. We had a lot of cold, wet weather, but now it's going strong, and things are looking really good for that.
If you can avoid some of the, the usual issues, like right now, because of the wet spring, there's a lot of mildew out there right now.
Yeah,
so
well, mildew seems to be more and more prevalent everywhere you go.
So you got to be careful with that.
An issue out there. We also have a caller who's been standing by on the telephone. Welcome to our show, caller.
Hello.
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 Hi.
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 You're on.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I've never done this before.
It's all right.
I understand.
I have lupus,
Mm-hmm.
and I got diagnosed 12 years ago, and the medications that they have put me on, like I lived up here in Portland metropolitan area for 20-some years, but it's like do you know what lupus is?
I do.
Yeah.
And we're sorry you have it. It's too bad.
Yeah, and I just lost like 10 pounds in a week because I couldn't eat because of the medication that they gave me.
Well, that's called cachexia or wasting syndrome, and that's one of the qualifying conditions. If you have medications that cause you to not be able to eat or have cachexia.
And metallic taste in my mouth.
Sure.
And, I felt like I was getting toxins. I mean, I couldn't, and I live on 3 acres at the coast down south, and I'm just, and my husband has to work up here. So, but my son-in-law just said, Kate, this is what you got to do. And my father and my grandfather were both pharmacists, compound pharmacists. And when we cleaned out my grandpa's drugstore down in the cellar, there was all kinds. I mean, they used to grow it for everybody.
Yeah, all the major pharmaceutical companies used to sell cannabis medicines till they were outlawed in the 30s.
Right. And so.
And those companies didn't even realize it was being outlawed until after it had been outlawed. So they were kind of shocked by that.
We got a 2-quart jar of seeds. You know what I mean? And my dad was going, "Hey, let's grow some of this stuff." And but my problem is like I'm so sick right now that I mean I have to smoke it to eat.
Yes.
And I lost 10 pounds in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I mean I could hardly walk up my driveway.
So do you have a medical marijuana permit?
No, that's what I'm calling for.
When's the last time you saw a doctor about your lupus?
I've been down in North Bend, and my husband just came back up here a few months ago, and he's living with my daughter. But I stay at the coast because I'm allergic to the sun and all that kind of stuff.
Have you seen a physician in the past few years?
Oh yeah, in fact, I'm going to one on Monday.
So any doctor can sign these recommendations. So it's up to you whether you want to ask your current doctor to help you get a medical marijuana permit.
Well, I'm going to a new doctor on Monday.
I see.
And that's why I'm going. Because I was going to flat out tell him that I smoke it so I can eat.
Well, if your doctor won't help you, then we have doctors who can help you. You can just call us at that number there on your screen. If you're outside the Portland area, call the toll-free number 1-800-723-0188. We have doctors everywhere from Michigan to Hawaii and many, many points in between who are willing and ready to help patients who need medical marijuana, such as yourself. So I would first go to your new doctor and establish that care and see if he's willing to do that. If he isn't, then you might want to give us a call. We have a physician referral service. You can call us here in Portland at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606.
I need the toll-free 800-723
0188.
0188.
We'll pop it up there on your screen again. There are volunteers in the control room. There it is. It's 1-800-723-0188. And you can leave a message right now and someone will call you back tomorrow.
Oh, that's cool. Because, my husband had to come rescue me because I couldn't drive. I was so weak.
Oh.
And and I know it was because of the chemical.
Right. We have doctors who are willing to help you if your current doctor won't. So feel free to call us if you can't find
How much does
that
it
help.
cost?
This is a cable access television show, and because of that, we can't get into commercial aspect. But different doctors in different states charge different amounts, and so just give that number a call, and they can explain all the details to you.
Cool. Well,
Good.
I thank you so much, and my husband and my son-in-law and my daughter and everybody else is going to be so happy because it's like I need it.
Great. Well, I'm sure they'll be happy to see you get the help you need.
I can't afford it, but I got a great place to grow it.
Good. Good.
All right. Well, thanks for calling, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad we could help.
Yeah, much success.
We have a message from Detroit.
Right on.
They say they're vaping large. We want to say hi to Ricky Gilliland and the folks there in Southfield and Detroit. Motor City. Motor City. Here we come. I haven't been out there in a while, but I look forward to getting back out there sometime soon. Let's see, what's our next text question here? Oh, our webmaster and friend Iko is at the Reggae Fest in Eugene, or outside Eugene.
Yeah, Mohawk Valley.
And so he's down there. We are now starting and have permission to gather our 1,000 signatures for the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act to completely legalize marijuana. We've got to get 1,000 signatures to qualify to start our petition campaign and get a ballot title for the next election cycle. So Iko is at the Reggae Fest in Eugene gathering signatures down there, and you can come by our office and find out more about that, or call us at 503-235-4606, or go to that website that was there, cannabistaxact.org, or again call 503-235-4606. Now,
are you sponsoring this petition or co-sponsoring with anyone
I'm
else?
the chief petitioner.
Okay.
And right now I'm the sole chief petitioner. I've been working on the text of this since 1988.
I know you have.
So
we've known each other a long time.
You know I've been doing this most of that
do.
time.
Yes,
and,
I do.
So far, we're really hopeful that we'll see the 2012 election cycle legalize marijuana, not just here in Oregon, but also in Colorado and Nevada and Washington, and hopefully it'll already be legal in California, because they have Proposition 19 down in California that would legalize up to an ounce of marijuana and a small personal garden. It would just be completely legal. It would also allow cities and counties to regulate and tax the sale of marijuana to adults over the age of 21. And so we're really excited about that, and we're strong supporters of California's Proposition 19.
Yes.
There's also a vote here in Oregon. It's ballot measure 74 that would set up medical marijuana dispensaries for patients and allow nonprofit dispensaries to sell marijuana to people who have an Oregon medical marijuana permit. So we support that as well. And so we urge you to register, vote, get involved, sign our upcoming Oregon Cannabis Tax Act petition, and help us end adult marijuana prohibition. That's what
I also intend to vote for that.
Me too.
I do intend to vote for that. We get calls on this show every week from people who their situations are so poignant and heartrending, and I know that they need medicine, and that seems to be a common theme. So.
That's true. We have another film clip we're going to roll right now, and we'll be back in just a moment to take more questions and comments. So stay tuned. Here it comes. It's almost here now.
You think it'll happen now?
I know it will.
The following trailer contains real marijuana.
Legend has it that deep within the THC crystal of the marijuana plant, there lives a goddess. A goddess so incredible that meeting her will transform your life forever.
She's magnificent, glorious, beautiful, delicious.
I want to meet her.
You start with a strain like this, nurture her, worship her. When your mind is open, she will come.
When their leader is arrested, 3 friends will travel halfway across the world, plant 25,000 marijuana plants, and harvest more organic ganja than you and all of your friends could smoke in 3 lifetimes. Whoa, that's a lot of pot.
You from America? Yep. So you think you can just come over to Europe, grow some weed, and make a whole bunch of money? Doesn't work like that.
All I know is, after how some of y'all treated the son, the Lord felt the need to hide his daughter. And he hid her in the most sacred of sacred places.
They have only one chance to get it right and to meet one goddess. Would you like to meet the Green Goddess?
I do.
That's the question.
I want to meet her. I do.
I thought you
I want to
were
meet her
already.
too.
I thought you-
Well, I did see her.
Okay.
Here, well, yeah. I just,
Okay.
I was just getting into the spirit of things. That movie is going to come out one of these days. I can see that will actually happen. So we have a question from a phone call. Welcome to our show, caller.
Hi, how are you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
How are you?
Pretty good, thanks. My question, well, my name is Jamie, first off. I
Hey,
go to
Jamie.
Portland State.
Great.
I'm
I
doing
went
a
there.
thesis paper on the medical aspects of cannabis. And I know you guys were talking about the omegas and the neurotoxins and stuff.
Yeah, the protein and the omega-3s and essential fatty acids found in hemp seed and hemp seed oil. That's one thing, and that's very beneficial and was a homeopathic cure for a number of conditions back when it was allowed. But then there's the whole separate aspect of the flowers and the resin from THC, having another whole class of active medicines too.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me call you right back. I got this shit on my hand.
Something happened. He had to do something.
Okay.
He had to hang
Well,
up
that
real
happens
quick.
sometimes.
Yeah, he had to hang up real quick. Something happened.
All right. If you have a question or
Hope
phone
you're
call
okay,
out
man.
there for us, give us a call at 503-288-4448. And we have a question from Massachusetts and Rhode Island. They want to know if we got his resume. I don't know if we got his resume or not. Gee, I can't answer that right now, guy. But if you faxed it to us, we probably got it. James. I think we probably did. You sent us a resume. There's just so many people we can hire, though, and that's a issue that all businesses have to face. But anyway, we are going to have a Hempstock volunteer potluck at the Kelly Point Park in preparation for our event. Now, the Hempstock Festival is September 11th and 12th, about a month away. But on August 29th, 2 weeks from now at noon on Sunday, August 29th, there will be a potluck gathering where we get together and bring some food and hang out for a few hours and get ready. Also, our head craft person, Sylvia, the master of camera 2 here, wants to remind all our people that the rock painting that happened last week will continue due to popular request at the picnic on August 29th, Sunday.
If you want more information, you just have to be there.
The reason we paint these rocks is so we can put them on our tables so our papers don't fly away, and that's really important on windy days.
And some of them are glow in the dark, so you can walk out safely. So we have all kinds of little secret things that are going on, which is nice.
So just stay tuned on that. And
but come to the potluck. We've had a few of them out there. It's really a fun place just to bring your kids, and there's plenty of food. Every time there's been plenty of food. We have a really good time. We're there for a few hours and enjoy the weather. It's a beautiful location to have a nice picnic.
Right at the confluence of the Willamette and the Columbia Rivers. So it's Kelly Point Park. It's also right where Marine Drive ends and Columbia Boulevard end. They kind of make a loop there and meet right in front of Kelly Point Park. So if you drive out west on Marine Drive or on Columbia Boulevard, I recommend Marine Drive. It's a little shorter and bigger. And you'll be right there at Kelly Point Park. Take exit 307 and head west off of I-5. We have another caller, though. Welcome to our show, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, thanks so much. Coincidentally, my name is Bud, but I think I bring up a good point, and here it is. Just like your previous caller, I could easily qualify for a card.
Yes.
And your previous caller, my goodness, she now knows she has lupus. She's gone through all of the process, and all the way to the point of getting medicine that's making her sick, and she hasn't gotten the card. And myself, I'll put in that same category because I can get pot on the street easily. Point being, I think we need people to do this more legally, A, to show that they're law-abiding citizens, and B, to support the cause. I mean, we're all hoping for the upcoming voting and the outcome of that, but I think in lieu of that, we all need to get together and get our cards. And so my question would be, is there any easier way to get the card? Is there a way for people to get the card like myself who go, oh, it's easier to get it here, so I have it?
Well, it's pretty darn easy. I mean, the thing is, it's for medical condition, and basically only a doctor can recommend it. So you've got to go see a doctor, and that's just the way it is. So if you have a medical condition that qualifies, then you probably should be receiving medical care anyway. So
it's not rocket science filling out the paperwork. So
very, very simple.
Yeah.
And as long as you found a doctor who is willing to do that for you, then that's all it takes.
All right.
And
well,
if it mitigates your issues, why aren't you? That's my question. And in this state, there are over 40,000 who have.
Yeah, 41,000. I think they topped here the past couple of weeks. And so I really think that's like you and the last lady. It's just scratching the surface, and that there could be 400,000 medical marijuana patients.
A lot more people out there suffering than they're claiming they are.
Yeah,
well,
or more. Here in Oregon alone.
Thanks for taking my call, and may I just say in closing, let's hope there is more people like myself and the previous caller who move ahead and get the card.
Yeah.
I appreciate all you're doing.
Right on. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, I urge you out there, if you are a loved one, think you might qualify for medical marijuana and aren't sure how to do it, you can call us and we'll be happy to help you. We have dozens of doctors all across the United States and half dozen here in Oregon that are willing and ready to help you right now. So just call us for our physician referral service. You can call us at here in Portland at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. If you are outside of the Portland area, anywhere in the United States, call our toll-free number at 1-800-723-0188. Again, that's 1-800-723-0188. And we have time for one more phone call here, so we're going to squeeze it in. Welcome to our show, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Danielle, and I'm calling because I have fibromyalgia, and I know that I qualify for a medical marijuana card. However, I really don't see the point of getting it. The way that we, as the previous caller said, the way that we can get it on the street, what are the benefits of having the card if you're not going to be your own grower?
Well, the biggest benefit is that you cannot be arrested. And obviously, if you have an ounce or less of marijuana, then you're just going to get a ticket that's a $500 fine. Well, just that fine alone will pay for having the card for 5 years. Also, you wouldn't have any sort of interaction with the police. You won't have to deal with that. That's the big benefit. And if you get arrested for growing, the card will pay for itself for 20 years. But if you can't grow your own, then we have ballot measure 74 that's going to be voted on in November to set up dispensaries. So anybody can go to one of these new nonprofit dispensaries and purchase cannabis. And under ballot measure 74, I'm not sure of all of its details, but I do know there will be low-cost cannabis for low-income people. So there will be a way for people who really can't afford that $300 an ounce to get medicine too.
Sure, but right now, what should somebody do, though, if they aren't going to be growing for themselves? I mean, how can they get their marijuana at a discount before that ballot can be passed?
Well, I grow my own, and I can tell you my outdoor growing I figured out all my costs and everything, even including security and rents, and it's about under $15 an ounce to grow it outdoors. To grow it indoors is more like $80 an ounce. Okay. And so if you can't grow it though, and you don't know anyone who can grow it for you, then that's the problem with the law as it currently stands. I would say only about 55 to 60% of the people who have a card renew it, because finding a resource to buy their cannabis is difficult. Where the one fellow who just called said he knows where he can get it from a lot of different places. There are a lot of people who don't know those outlets, and they've got to network. Here in Oregon, there are more and more facilities out there that are opening up where patients can join a local club and participate in cannabis and ask questions and even get free cannabis in these stores. So there's a social outlet there as well.
Okay, and you have to have your card to be able to go to those.
Yeah, you have to have a medical marijuana permit to be able to go to any of those stores. And when the dispensaries open, which should be in January or February, I believe, under ballot measure 74, and it's polling at 70% or no 60%, 59%, then you'll be able to get that help.
So we need to vote on that.
Yeah, we urge you to vote yes here in Oregon on ballot measure 74 to set up medical marijuana dispensaries, and on Proposition 19 to just completely legalize it. You know, we're down though to under a minute and a half left, so I've got to
thank you.
Hey, thanks for your call. I want to thank our viewers out there for watching. Tim has jumped back over to his maestro chair and is ready to play some music for us. We'll be back with a tape show for the next 2 weeks, and we'll have another live show regularly starting in the month of September, the first week in September. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and help us restore hemp. Good night. See you in Seattle, folks.